Christmas morning had always been my favorite time of year. The smell of cinnamon rolls, the sound of carols playing faintly in the background, and my parents' laughter echoing through the house. But that particular morning, when I was 21 and home from college, felt different from the moment I woke up. There was no warmth in the air, no excitement. Just a strange tension that I couldn't quite place. When I came downstairs, Mom and Dad were sitting at the kitchen table, cups of coffee untouched. There were no presents under the tree, just a single envelope with my name on it. I frowned, half joking. "What's this?" "A treasure map." Dad didn't laugh. "Sit down, Alex," he said. His tone was calm but firm, the kind that made my stomach tighten. I sat. Mom slid the envelope toward me. Inside was a note that read, "We sold your laptop and emptied your savings account. Your lesson starts now." For a moment, I thought it was a prank. I laughed nervously. "Good one. You got me." But they didn't smile. Dad leaned forward. "We're serious, Alex. You've been careless, with money, with your responsibilities, with life. You don't understand what it means to work for something." I blinked, my mind racing. "You sold my laptop? The one I use for my classes?" Mom sighed softly. "You barely went to class this semester. You failed 2 courses. And you spent the money your grandparents left you on clothes, restaurants, and a new phone." Her words hit me like a slap. I felt anger rising, mixed with guilt I didn't want to admit. "So what? It's my money. You had no right." Dad cut me off. "We had every right. You live under our roof. And it's time you learned that actions have consequences." I stood up, my chair scraping the floor. "You can't just... This isn't how you teach someone a lesson. You ruined Christmas for you." Dad's voice sharpened. "No, Alex. You ruined it for yourself." The silence after that was suffocating. I stormed out, slamming the door behind me. Snow was falling gently, covering the neighborhood in white, but all I could feel was heat, anger burning through my chest. I spent the rest of the day driving aimlessly, stopping at a diner off the highway. I sat there, staring at my reflection in the window, trying to process what had just happened. Every instinct screamed that they were wrong, that this was cruel. But then, somewhere between the 3rd cup of coffee and the quiet hum of the jukebox, I started thinking about what they said. They weren't wrong about my grades. Or about how I'd spent the money. I'd been coasting, assuming things would always fall into place because they always had. I'd never had to work for anything. That night, I went back home, expecting another argument. Instead, I found Mom sitting by the fireplace, knitting quietly. Dad was reading the newspaper. They looked up when I walked in. "I get it," I said finally. "You wanted to make a point. You did." Dad set his paper down. "We didn't do it to hurt you, son. We did it because we don't want to lose you to laziness and excuses." Mom smiled sadly. "You're smart, Alex. But you've been living like the world owes you something. It doesn't." For the first time in years, I didn't have a comeback. I just nodded. In the weeks that followed, I picked up a part-time job at a local repair shop. It wasn't glamorous, long hours, greasy hands, minimum pay, but it taught me something I'd never understood before: how hard people worked for what they had. I bought a second-hand laptop after a month, using my own earnings. It felt different, like something I'd truly earned. Months later, when I came home for spring break, my parents greeted me with a new envelope on the kitchen table. Inside was a check, the amount they'd taken from my account. Dad said quietly, "We just wanted to make sure you knew what to do with it this time." I didn't even touch it. "Keep it," I said. "I don't need it right now." He smiled for the first time in a long while. "That's exactly what we wanted to hear." Looking back now, years later, I understand that day wasn't about punishment. It was about perspective. They took what I valued most to show me what real value meant. It was the harshest Christmas I'd ever had, but also the one that changed me forever.